Hello everyone, welcome back. If you're new, my name is Chris. We just finished the month of August, so that means another round of pickups and passes. In other words, fragrances that I got in the month of August and fragrances that I'm going to let go to a new home. I think I have 8 or 10 fragrances that I've picked up and 4 or 5 fragrances that I'm going to let go to a new home. So if you'd like to see this month's episode, keep watching. So the first one on the list is another one by the House of Siash. I think this is cupcake number 4 or 5. And again, I do love the packaging. This one is called Love is in the Air. This is not my favorite one, I will say. I like it, I'm still getting to know it. And I either got this one free or half off. They were having this special, I can't remember, but if you spent a certain amount, you get a free cupcake. And many of the cupcakes that I have purchased, I think I've gotten them at least half off. So this was one or the other. But anyways, this one has plum in it. So this is a plum-based fragrance. It's a like, and I'm getting to know it, and that's why we'll keep it right now. So this has plum, this has citruses, rose, patchouli, white musk, and some sort of wood, maybe cedar. This is very sweet. This smells like a sweet, fruity, plummy rose with just a little bit of citrus notes in there. Very sweet, on the sweet side. So if you don't like sweet fragrances, this is not going to be up your alley. And it does dry down a little bit sweeter. So a little bit different fragrance for me. I don't have anything like this fragrance, and I can't think of another fragrance that I have that is similar to this. So that is the first pickup for the month. So the next one up is by the House of Teo Cabanel. And both of my Teo Cabanels, I think I hauled either July or June, but they stayed in the box because they're deeper fragrances. They are better suited for the fall and the autumn. So I thought this would be a good time to show them in my haul video or my pickups. So these were pickups this summer. And the first one is Alahine. And I do love the packaging. So this one is a sweet, resinous, spicy, ambery floral. Lot going on in here. Yeah, so let me get reacquainted here. The florals in here the florals are ylang ylang and rose. And they are just kind of overpowered by some sort of resinous note. I believe it is benzoin in this one. There is also this kind of spicy leatheriness. It's very leathery, very spicy, maybe a little bit of pepper. I don't know if it's leather or labdanum. It's one of the other. But I get this spicy leatheriness in here. And the dry down, I think I've worn this twice this week to kind of get ready for this, this video. And it does dry down a little bit sweeter. I do think there's patchouli and vanilla, and something about the dry down is vaguely plummy. I'm certain that there is no plum in this fragrance, but I just got a little bit of plum, and maybe it's my imagination, but this is a really good, rich, resinous, spicy, ambery floral that I will be wearing as the weather turns colder in the next month or so. Yeah, Alahine. The next one up is a fragrance by the House of Hermetica. I think this is my second fragrance by that house. It's called Sandal Sun, and I wanted this fragrance because it has a prominent note of hazelnut. And I really enjoy the fragrances that have like nuts and rice and seeds and sesame. Those kind of notes just really appeal to me because they're very unusual. And I think as the weather gets colder, this will work out wonderfully because it is a very warm and creamy and smooth, nutty fragrance. Yeah, there's hazelnut, there's sandalwood, I think there's cocoa in here, which gives it a little bit of warmth. There is definitely vanilla in here. It's a little bit powdery. I think there's heliotrope, and there is a note of myrrh in here. I really don't get myrrh. It's just so yummy. And the hazelnut in here is very creamy. It's a very creamy, smooth hazelnut. Definitely gets, what am I trying to say? It gets sweeter on the dry down. So I've been enjoying it a couple times that I have worn it. And this, you know, this house was started by the couple behind Memo Paris. They started this in 2018. And, you know, they had this particular ethos and they use green technology, whereas they create these fragrances such that the top and the middle notes come out at the same time. There's no alcohol in here, so you can actually spray the fragrance on your wrist and you can rub together. You don't have to worry about crushing the notes. And they have oils in here that are very moisturizing, so they actually encourage you spraying the fragrance on your hands, your arms, whatever, rubbing them in, and they're extra moisturizing. You know, they're paraben-free, alcohol-free, cruelty-free, and everything's recyclable. So I do like the ethos behind the brand, and I love this fragrance. And it is going to be delicious as the weather turns colder. So yeah, so that's Sandal Sun. The next fragrance up is a fragrance by the house of Heeley, and it is called Blanc Poudre, which in French means white powder. So you know this is going to be a powdery fragrance. And the radar was up for me for this fragrance because it has a note of rice, okay? And I love fragrances with a note of rice. So I was all over this one, and I sampled it first, and I only sampled it from a dabber bottle, so it's a little bit different experience. But this is a, you know, a clean, cottony, slightly floral musk, and the opening to me kind of smells like a freshly laundered shirt that you hung to dry on a clothesline. There is a certain smell to laundry that has been hung up to dry naturally in the sun. I know this because that's how my grandmother used to launder things, and it's just a clean, fresh smell that you never forget. So it does smell, it smells like that to me with a little bit of musk. It does smell powdery. Can I smell rice? No, it's more of like a rice powder, almost similar to what you get in cosmetics. The notes in here, I think, are cotton flower. There's rice powder, white musk, vanilla, and sandalwood. So this is a very quiet fragrance. Boy, this fragrance is very, very soft, at least for me. So you can just kind of go to town on this one and you are not going to offend anybody. In fact, I would say this would be work appropriate because it is very soft. So yeah, that's another pickup from this month, Blanc Poudre. The next one up is a fragrance that I have had my eye on for a long, long time, and it just simply wasn't available. I could not find it for the longest time, and then it became available on fragrancebuy.ca in the month of August, and of course I scooped it up, and I think a lot of people scooped it up, and it is Lavandes Trianon by Lancome. This one is really, really nice, and I'm glad that I finally have it. This one to me is fairly simple, and a lot of lavender fragrances can be a little bit harsh and abrasive. This one is really nice. The opening is just a touch sharp on the sharp side, and of course it's probably from the lavender, but what I get from this dries down to a lavender cookie. So there's lavender in here, there's vanilla, I think there's milk and sugar for the notes. I think so. I looked it up before this video, but that's, if my memory serves, that's what's in here. And it does, it kind of smells, it dries down to a really nice lavender cookie. It's a little sweet, but not too sweet. And the lavender is nice and bright, but it's not too harsh. So really lovely pickup, and I will be wearing, I think this is probably good year round, but definitely will be wearing it as the weather turns colder. Next up is a fragrance that I purchased because one of my good friends here on YouTube, it's one of her favorite fragrances, and it has a note of rice or rice powder. And so of course I was all over it. And it is by Jennifer Lopez, and it is called Still. Now this was a real big surprise for me how this smelled, but it's surprising in a very, very good way. This is a very pleasant fragrance, and this is right up my alley because I like fresh and clean fragrances, and this is to me a predominantly fresh, slightly citrusy tea fragrance. It's just very, very pleasant and fresh and bright and inoffensive. I love tea fragrances. This is so, so lovely. I could have easily put this in my easy reaches or fragrance that are good to wear for work. It's very, very lovely. It reminds me a lot of the fragrance that I have that I've showed a couple times recently by Givenchy, Anjou du Mont Le Secret. They are very, very similar. This one does not have a note of cranberry. Other than that, they are incredibly similar. So for me, if you have one, you don't need the other. But I'm happy I have both. This one's a great fragrance that I would definitely take with me on vacation during the warmer weather. This is lovely. So I'm super glad that I picked up Still by Jennifer Lopez. Next one up is a gorgeous amber fragrance that I cannot wait to wear as the weather gets colder. It is another one by Teo Cabanel, and this is called Barkhane. Oh, I absolutely love this fragrance. This is a very resinous amber fragrance, and unlike Alahine, this one does not have prominent florals. Alahine has very prominent florals. This one, I think the only floral that's listed is geranium, and honestly, I can't say that I get any geranium, but I've only worn this a couple times, but what I get front and center is myrrh. There's a beautiful myrrh note, and so it's myrrh and beautiful amber accord. Absolutely gorgeous. There's vanilla, patchouli, labdanum in here. Gorgeous. This one also has curry and cumin, and I think I tested every one of these except Still. So I tested it beforehand. I would have been a little bit nervous with this one with the notes of curry and cumin, and they do not go into spice rack territory, and they definitely don't go into stinky category or direction. It's a sweet fragrance. This is gorgeous, and if you're an amber lover, this one, of course it's not going to be for everybody, but this is going to be for most amber lovers, I believe. It's really, really quite lovely. I think I'm going to stop with 8 pickups for the month. I have 2 more, and I'm just going to roll those into the September pickups. But the last one is, I got this early in August, and it is by Henry Rose, and I've been super, super impressed with that fragrance house. I definitely will get at least 1 or 2 more bottles, but this one I absolutely loved right away. Right away, knew I wanted it literally the first day I wore it, and it is called Queens and Monsters, and this is their kind of sandalwood forward fragrance. It's quite lovely. You know, this fragrance brand is very clean. I talked about it completely in another video where I review the house, and I will link it up here. But very impressive house for sure. You know, everything is done with a tremendous thought put into it, the ethos behind it. Again, it's a completely clean fragrance company, and they do a really, really good job with that. And their fragrances smell amazing. This one is gorgeous. This has some sort of green note in the beginning. It's very fresh. I think it's violet leaf. Violet leaf, maybe some neroli. It's very green and fresh and a touch floral, but more green and fresh. And as these notes kind of fade, you get this gorgeous, warm, vanillic sandalwood that's sweet but not overly sweet. And it has this note of cocoa musk that gives it this incredible, I think, depth and warmth as it dries down. The dry down on this is absolutely gorgeous. It is a sweet, warm, delicious vanillic sandalwood that on me smells fabulous. And I believe this got, this was an Allure award for 2020. So this got a fragrance award. It's really stunning. And I highly recommend, if you're really looking for clean fragrances, to check out Henry Rose. I have been going through now 4 different houses, and I will video those as time goes on. But this one still is my favorite so far. I've been super impressed with this house. But Queens and Monsters, love it. The first one on the chopping block is by the House of Ganache. I think this is a new release from 2021, and it is called Snuggle. And I got this because at the very beginning of the year, they were having this incredible sale. Buy one, I think it was get one free. So you can imagine that I did buy several bottles, and you know, most of which I didn't even smell. And this one sounded really good and interesting. It's supposed to be a cardamom vanilla coffee fragrance, and it sounds really, really good, but it just does not work for me. This is very, very bitter. The coffee in here is like a very bitter green coffee, and that with the cardamom, it's a little bit too sharp for me. I like my fragrances, particularly my beverage fragrances, to be on the sweeter side, more gourmand. And this just was a touch bitter. It wasn't what I was expecting. So yeah, so Snuggle is the first one on the chopping block. The next one kept going in and out and in and out of the chopping block. In fact, last night I pulled it out of the basket. I thought, no, I want to keep this. But in reality, I just don't wear it. And it's getting harder and harder to declutter things because there really aren't any fragrances I hate or dislike strongly. The ones I'm decluttering because I don't wear. And so it's getting much harder to declutter fragrances, but I need to because I only want to save the ones that I really, really like or love. But this one is by Encounter Scents. I think they came out maybe the end of 2020. And they had Encounter Romantic for Her, Romantic for Him. Now the Romantic for Him, I love. I absolutely love that one. And the atomizer is broken. That's why I don't wear it a whole lot, but I will have to decant it into some other vessel so that I can wear it. But the Romantic for Her is actually quite lovely. And I sprayed it last night and I wore this to bed. And I kept going back and forth. Do I really want to declutter it? But I had to be honest. I do not wear it. It has cotton candy. It has vanilla. It has spun sugar. It has whipped cream, vanilla ice cream, saffron, some sort of wood, maybe cedar. But you can see where this is going. It's a very gourmand fragrance, and to me this smells like Baccarat 540, and you combine that with some sort of mildly spicy ice cream, vanilla ice cream or pudding. So it's sweet. It's a very sweet, vanillic, mildly spicy take on Baccarat 540, and I love Baccarat 540. So I kind of don't feel like I need this one. And I love my Sweet Gourmands, but this just is not getting any wear time. And I've had it for about a year. So I'm going to end. And the difficult thing is I think you can't find this anymore. So, you know, for somebody who really likes this, they will be able to pick this up because I'm not wearing it anymore. And back to, we're going to the declutter basket. This one, I'm not decluttering it because I don't like it. And it is an incredible deal. And it's by Cabotine, and it's Cabotine Gold. And this brings back good memories because I wore a Cabotine with the green top when I was really, really young. And that was kind of my go-to fragrance. Or it was the only fragrance I owned when I was very, very young. And I really couldn't, I could only afford one fragrance, and it had to be really inexpensive when I was in school. And so this brings back good memories, but this smells completely different, the Cabotine Gold. This kind of smells like, it has very similar vibes to Coco Mademoiselle. However, and I'm not head over heels in love with Coco Mademoiselle. I like Shiseido Zen, which is my version of Coco Mademoiselle. The praline note's been removed, been replaced with some citruses. This has that Coco Mademoiselle vibe, but it has an extra heavy blast of pink pepper. You have to like pink pepper. It is a blast of pink pepper. It's very, very strong. And then it has a very heavy note of vetiver. But, so I don't dislike this. I just never use this. And this, if you like Coco Mademoiselle and you like pink pepper, boy, this is a great deal. I think I paid less than $20 for it. But even though it's a great fragrance for the price, I don't hang on to fragrances that I will not use. So that one's going back in the Declutter box. This one is another very inexpensive fragrance. Again, I think it's a great fragrance for the price. It is Tommy Bahama Island Life, yeah. And this is a really, I think this was like $16. This is a really nice, oh gosh, now that smells really good. I sprayed it on the box initially. This is like a, I think it was like 16 bucks. A very pleasant kind of shampoo-y, it has peach blossom in it, and I really, really like that, like a peach blossom and a musk. There is something else in here, I think is anise or anise. I don't know why I said anise. It's anise. That is a little bit, I don't know, it's just a little touch off-putting, or it just doesn't smell good on me. But I love peach, and I love the peach blossom. And I think this would do really well if you layered it with like a fruity lotion. Very inexpensive, great for the warmer months, but again, not wearing it, and it's taking up space. So that's why these declutters are getting difficult. I have to get rid of fragrances that I like, but I'm just not wearing. And I think I have one more in here. This one, again, this was a tough one. I'm sad to declutter it, but I don't wear it. And I have come to the realization, no matter how hard I try, I am not an alien girl. And I have, you know, friends that love Alien, adore Alien. And I used to think that I did not like floral fragrances, which is a bunch of malarkey. I love florals, and yeah, I love lots of florals. The floral that I do not like a heady jasmine. I do not like an indolic jasmine. And unfortunately, that is the floral that is in Alien. And I think that's why I just, you know, Alien and we just don't get along. And this one I bought was, I thought this was going to be the flanker for me that I could do is Alien Eau Sublime. I love the bottle. And if you're an Alien fan, I think you have to like this. It's a very fresh take on Alien. It's a citrusy, lighter version, and I thought this was the version for me. But that indolic jasmine gives me a headache every single time. So I just have to accept the fact that, you know, Alien's not for me, and that's okay. Listen, guys, variety is the spice of life. How boring would it be if we all liked the same things? That would be boring. So I am going to sadly let Alien Eau Sublime go. And I think that does it for my passes. So that's it, August version of pickups and passes. Thanks again for sticking around. If you're still here with me, I really appreciate it. I'd love to know, what were your pickups and passes for the month of August? Go ahead and drop me a comment below, and I will see you for the next one.